welcome everybody. And we are going to have a virtual tour in a little bit. This is the KBV Almsgiving ceremony for this year, 2023. We're having it early because ISM Chusaka is going to Australia for the Vasa. So today we have ISM Tachita with us, coming to support our ceremony. Thank you for coming, Aya. She's been a long-term, sure. She's been a long-term friend of KBV since before there was a KBV. So we always appreciate having her. Yeah, I think we jump in with the virtual tour, Aya. This is ISM Chusaka and I'm Aya Chitananda, and that's Anagartha Sarana. If you don't know already. If you're watching this online, you probably know already, but okay. So would you entertain them for a second while I get this on the screen? Thanks, Aya.
May I sit there to see the tour as well? For that, may I?
Yeah, yes,
on the screen.
very short.
May I sit in your seat?
Let's say there, wherever, yeah, whatever works.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the way.
No, you're not.
Can you hear? Oh yeah, Aya Chitananda. I mean Aya Santachita. I can't keep them straight. Can you? When I called myself Santachita one day, I knew I was really confused. And I'm not the only one. Sometimes
I just undo the share and click share sound. And
Yeah.
share video.
Okay.
Sorry.
one
that's
day
good.
I was reading this beautiful email about how great I am, and then I realized it was intended for Aya Santachita.
Okay, time for a virtual tour of. Okay. Everybody here's already seen. The KBV Meditation Center. It's going to be a short tour. There's not too much here to see. It's Kathina Day or Almsgiving Day, so the garage is set up for that. Some tables and food things. And then here's the front. And I think you can see Anagartha Sarana working in there. We'll just come in. Okay. Some of you are familiar with this from videos online or from coming in person, but this is a shrine room. Can only seat maybe a dozen people in here comfortably, but seems to be okay for us at the time. Got some air filters running, so we have a lot of people coming today, hopefully. And here's the kitchen. There's Anagartha Sarana working away as usual. Little kitchen, and that ways through to the garage. That's the backyard that we'll see later. So in here we have 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. There's a little bathroom. And the bedrooms double as something else. So this is the bedroom / office. And we're doubling up because Aya Santachita and Heather Marie are here visiting. Came for the day. So this is where they're staying. And this is also the sewing room. Little closets and stuff. And then this is Anagartha Sarana's room. It's also the little library we have here. Okay, that's kind of it for inside. And then out here, Aya Santachita is cleaning up, getting ready for the day. Thank you, Aya. So there's a nice little courtyard back here. Got some tents set up for eating under. It's going to be kind of warm today. So there's a little backyard back here through this gate with a nice pergola, and on the left this is a cherry tree, and this is Heather Marie working hard, cleaning up.
Mask is on for the desk.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, and then
We got some wisteria climbing up this pergola. Soon we'll have a nice little natural shade instead of this tarp, but it's good for now. And that's a big avocado tree back there. And got some tents set up for the day. And we have like a plum tree there, and a fig tree, and a peach tree. So it's fun. Get some nice fruit in the summer. And that's kind of it. Yep.
Don't you wish you had come early and gotten yourself in a shot?
Okay.
Did you notice my cameo appearance walking through with the ladder? I saw that in
Okay, so now we're gonna have Jamila.
So now we're going to hear from Jamila Gunawardena, who's our board president. He just moved to the East Coast, so he sent this in.
Dear friends, lay community, and monastic sangha, welcome to Karuna Buddhist Vihara's Kathina
Wi-Fi lab or did you touch?
celebration. After many years of remote community gatherings, it's special to be able to come together in person and see each other. I want to thank the organizers of the Kathina celebration. I want to thank the board, past and present, for their insights and service. And finally, I want to thank all of you. We're a community, and the people in our community is what makes this all so wonderful. I know for myself, this has been a year of many transitions. I've often shared stories of my kids, but now they're all grown up, on their way to 16, 18, and 20. They're on different coasts and in different locations. I still do hear from them every now and then when they need a little extra lunch money, but now that they've had their own driver's licenses, my days as a dad taxi are largely over. But with all these transitions, what I want to talk about is finding steadiness as transitions in our lives become loud and overwhelming. There's a famous expression, give a person a fish and they'll eat for a day, but teach someone to fish and they'll eat for a lifetime. But how do you teach a drowning person to fish? We can't. None of us can fish underwater. We're not ourselves. So how do we prepare? I spoke with someone a few months ago who was incredibly calm, who had become a Buddhist, and I asked him, how do you stay so steady? He shared that when he was much younger, he was pulled into gang life and he had to quickly get out. I asked him what he learned to do that, and he said, easy, 3 things. First, adapt to your soil. Wherever you are, you have to grow in that environment with those nutrients. Number 2, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Constantly stay in the present and prepare for each next step. And lastly, number 3, when you are feeling lonely is when bad friends show up. You always need healthy boundaries, and always make sure the quality of the people in your life reflects the quality of your values. Don't make compromises. Later, he told me, Jamila, your mental health is your future. I found all of these insights to be incredibly elegant. Adapt to your soil, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. When you're feeling lonely is when bad friends show up, and your mental health is your future. He had learned a lot from life and Buddhism to stay steady, clear his path, and find his footing during times of transition. Similarly, stepping back, or more aptly stepping forward, I'm hoping each of us, can, in our own way, use the wonderful tools that Buddhism gives us to do the same. Thank you all very much, and please enjoy the Kathina celebration.
Thank you, Jamila. You might watch this again. Who knows?
So next up is
And next up is Philip Chu. He's been our treasurer for, something like 8 years, I think. And he's just recently stepped down from the board. He's still working on the books. He goes in the curriculum. Now we're gonna hear his message.
Hi, thank you everyone for attending today and supporting our Vihara. My name is Philip, and I've been a part of this community for about 8 years now, 5 of those being a member of the board. And almost every day I think to myself, I don't show enough appreciation to the Bhikkhunis. But it really hit home recently when I stepped down as a member of the board. And during the transition activities, the community planning this Almsgiving event, and I essentially kept planning her trip to Australia. There was a moment when I felt like I was saying goodbye to the community, even though I'm not going anywhere. I'll still have a chance to participate in the community. But somehow my mind went there. And when you get that sinking feeling in your heart, like you're losing someone close to you, it really made me realize how important this community is to me and what the Sangha has done for me in my life. So I wanted to take this opportunity to send a message of gratitude to the Sangha. Now I understand the focus of this year's almsgiving is clearing the path to Nibbana, which for lay people is probably a ways off. But I think in our interactions with the Bhikkhunis, during programs, one-on-one conversations, or helping behind the scenes to organize events, we see the example that they set in everything that they do and how they do it. And when we put in the effort and energy in our own practice, we see results, and that starts to build confidence in the Dhamma. That moment came for me when I noticed a difference in how I understood a passage in part of the Pali chanting that we do. It translates to unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. And when I first encountered this passage, I didn't think much of it, kind of took a superstitious interpretation of what it meant. But as time went on, I started to understand it's completely different. It's really powerful when you understand that refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha is there at all times. It helps me through the wear and tear of life, and at the same time, not take the good times for granted. And it's something I wouldn't have realized without regular practice, many conversations with the Aryas, and of course meditation practice. It's a tremendous gift that I realized. It's a strong foundation to take the first step in. And I know I'm not the only person who's benefited this way from their relationship with the Sangha. I'll end by thanking the Bhikkhunis again for their teachings, their advice, and the example that they set for us. Having been a member of the board, I have a little more insight about what goes on into operating a Vihara, all the projects that have been going on at the Hermitage, traveling to teach, weekly programs, making time for us lay people when we want to talk, and the hard work of building up a grassroots Bhikkhuni Sangha. So in conclusion, you're a treasure. I hope that others in the community join in my sentiment to appreciate you. And thank you for everyone who's attending today, and enjoy the rest of the ceremony.
Okay, great. And now we're going to hear a little bit from our sponsor, Kaylin Crimpley, who's sponsoring the almsgiving ceremony this year. He's going to say a few words.
Okay, go ahead.
Increase the crowd.
I don't really have anything much to prepare, but as you probably already can tell, this whole day is just about gratitude. And really taking the time to reflect on what that means for you in terms of what we get from the teachings of Buddhism, we get from the Buddhist Viharas, what we get through the community here. And if you could pause and just maybe on your drive home, wherever, just really just take in, like, what does that mean? It's so rare, like, to not only be data-based, not only be transactional, just the teachings, it's so different than Western, I mean, I grew up American Western, it's just so special. And when you just think of what they do, again, kind of what Philip was saying, the day-longs that they host, the weekly meditation things, the traveling that they do, it's a lot. It's really a lot to start like a whole hermitage and off in the middle. I mean, I don't know if you've been there. It's not easy place to live in a sense. And from that gratitude that we kind of foster in ourselves for this, it's easy to kind of give. And that's what this day is this clock kind of represents what can we give as community members, not just me, give back to them. And that's going to be different for everybody. And it's kind of easy to give and support. Like, how can we support them? And one thing that's a little different, again, maybe it's just culturally, but here you kind of have to make it known to them what you can provide, because they're not going to be able to go to you and say, I need this. That's not how it works. You need to be like, do you need a ride? Do you need food? Do you need, I don't know, whatever. And they'll keep that in mind, because they're not going to ask for it in a sense, so to speak. And it's just a completely different way of approaching things, because they'll go hungry. Well, not exaggerating, but like, if they don't get food in some sense, that's it. Like, if we're not supporting them in a sense, it's not going to happen. Just to realize, like, this doesn't come for free in some sense, and in a good way. So just to see what we can do to support this, to keep this going, because it does come from us. And that just means all of us. And again, that's going to be different capacities at different times. Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylin. Yep, we love our mutually beneficial support we have for each other here. It's great to see all of you here in person. Some like long-term friends and a lot of new ones too. Sweet. So I guess now we'll start the sort of ceremonial bit with chanting. We're going to call the devas. Ayasanta Chief is going to lead. And then we'll have refuges and precepts. And then we'll do the sort of formal offering of the requisites.
Before we start, does everybody have their program, or you already know the refuges and precepts? If you need a program, I think there probably are still some around. Maybe. Can you hear all right in the back? Can you hear all right in the back? Okay. We'll give people a minute. I think Emma's done to get a few programs to pass out. It looked like to me that was what was happening. I'm not sure she comes. Okay. Want to pass another one back to Emma? Kindly gave hers away. Okay. I'll just give you a minute to get organized, and then you need more volume in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we able to provide more volume in the back?
Would you mind, trying?
All the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just see what happens.
That's a little more. All right. How's that sound? You want to check out the polling in the back? Says that's better. All right.
About all we can do.
I am eating the microphone, so just. I'm not going to start with inviting all the benevolent forces of the universe to come and bear witness to this gathering. Paritavana mecham sameta padanta avihita chitta paritang banantu mantra chakravalesu atra gachantu devata sadamnang munirachasa punantu sakamokadang sage kame charupe
Kirisi karata chantali ke vimane. Diperate chatame taruvana kahane gehavatumi kete. Umma chayantu deva chalatala visame yakaganta panaka. Idanta santike muni varavachanang sadavo me sunantu. Buddha dasana kalo ayang padanta. Dhamma savana kalo ayang padanta. Sangha parirupa sanakalo ayang patanta.
Okay. Would anybody like to lead the requesting the 5 precepts? Not so much, huh? Are you up for it, Kaylin? Do you want to try? Thank you.
Read about it.
Yeah.
Just this top, right?
Yes.
Point very close to your lips.
Mayam aya tisarana saha pancha suya yachama. Vidyampi mayam aya tisarana saha pancha suya yachama. Tatyanpi mayam aya tisarana saha pancha suya yachama.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we'll do the refuges and precepts. I'm going to say the Namo Tassa 3 times first, and then you'll say it 3 times after I'm done. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddham saranam gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sangham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
Tisarana gamanang nititam. So this part, I'm going to say the Pali, and then you repeat the Pali, and then also the English. Panatipata Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Adina Dana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Amisuni Chachara Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami.
Undertake the precept to refrain from sexual misconduct.
Musawada Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Suramiraya Maja Pramadatana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami.
Undertake the precept to refrain from intoxicating drugs, which lead to carelessness.
Imani Pancha Sikakadani Silena Sukatiyanti Silena Boga Sampada Silena Nibhutinyanti Tasma Silang Visodayan. Okay, so I think would you like to talk a little bit more about the ceremonies and the levels?
Well, now we're going to have a brief robe offering ceremony. And as Kaylin mentioned, this is kind of a representation of all of your offerings and all of the offerings that we give throughout the year to support the monastery and keep it going. And so as Kaylin, first of all, we'll be passing the tray through the rows back here, so everyone gets a chance to touch it and really consider making this offering from your heart. And so while you do that, us up here, the nuns, the queens and Anagarika will chant Namo Tassa and kind of get into that state, that rhythm, and offer all your blessings that you wish to share as you touch the tray as it comes by. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 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 Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma
Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Okay, now Taylor's going to formally offer the tray with the requisites.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Venerables, I present this Kathina cloth and all its other offerings to the community. It would be good if the community would accept these offerings and continue to develop KBV and share the Dhamma for our long-term welfare and happiness.
So chant a blessing for your offerings. Nice. Sabarodo vinimoto, sabasanta bhavajito, sabaveramadhikanto, vibhuto chatavabhava, sabitiyo vivachantu sabarodo, vinasatu mate pavadvancharayo, Sukhiti kayuko bhava abhivadanasili sanicha buddha pajayino chataru dhamma vadanti ayuvano sukham param. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Buddhas. May you ever be well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Dhamma. May you ever
serve you well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you. By the power of all the Sangha, may you ever be well.
Okay, so can I ask Ayasam just to entertain you for a second while I get our Dhamma talks up online again.
I think I used my only joke last time. You know, one of the things that people have been remarking on is what a lovely space we have here. And I think I really didn't, I mean, I've been extremely appreciative of Ning and Marco renting this house to Karuna Buddhist Vihara for way below market, way below market. And it really is out of their wish, clearly, to, and it really is out of their wish to help support this meditation center happening and have it available to people in a place where a lot of people can easily get to.
Greetings, everyone.
But today, with all of you here and the beautiful day that we're having and the tents getting set up and the chairs and the sleeping and the leaf blowing and everything that's happened, it's really feeling blessed in a way that it didn't before. And so I really am in awe always of the power of our spiritual energy, the intentions we have, the virtue, the goodness, and how when we come together, there's such a power in it. So I just want to thank you for that.
Okay. And so this is Ajahn Pasano's message to us today.
Maybe some people don't know who that is. Chidananda.
Yeah. Ajahn Pasano has been a teacher for Ayasam Tusaka and myself for many years now. He's a student of Ajahn Chah, and he was the abbot and I guess co-founder of the Bayagiri Buddhist Monastery in Ukiah, California, or Redwood Valley technically, but up that way. And he's been very supportive of us over the years. He's made many messages for our programs before. So he'll tell you all about it where he is right now. So yeah.
And now he describes his role, even though he's the guiding elder. His story is he's the resident old part.
Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. This is a recording, unfortunately. The almsgiving ceremony today coincides with my mother's birthday. So I am up in Canada right now celebrating my mother's 100th birthday with the rest of my family. So although I'm not able to be there physically, I'm very happy to send this video in as a acknowledgement and encouragement of this special day, so that today is a day of gathering for the community of supporters of Karuna Buddhist Vihara, and I'm happy to help to support and encourage the ayahs and all of you. These ceremonies are they're very important occasions to gather. Sometimes the Buddhism can be, especially in the West, be kind of represented as either a philosophy or a technique for training the mind, but the to me, this is using a word that is maybe a bit of anathema. It is a religion, but it's also, I say, a religion in its best sense, in that the religion is the root of the word religion is a yoking. Religio is to yoke or to join. And so it's like joining the very human aspiration to something more noble or divine even. But it also yokes and joins people, and being able to give the opportunity to people all throughout a society or a culture to be a participant in this human endeavor of seeking something that is illuminating, awakening, ennobling, is a really important opportunity and aspect to be a part of. And particularly ceremonies like these almsgiving ceremonies are really great opportunities to get together and to share a common aspiration, a common goal, and a sense of communion with each other as human beings that are, in the words of a great Thai master who I would sometimes have the good fortune to be a translator for, Lupa Panyananta, he would often begin his public addresses and greeting everybody, welcoming everybody as brothers and sisters in birth, aging, sickness, and death. And it's we have this common bond in this process of being human, but we also have a common bond in the sense of appreciation of goodness, appreciation of generosity, appreciation of safety, that coming together on occasions like this brings. There's a warmth and a generosity of spirit that is generated, and so it's a beautiful thing to be a part of and to share with. I've heard that the theme of the gathering is clearing the path to awakening, and that's a great perspective to be reflecting on, not just today, but of course every day, really, because it really is the case that we have this capacity for awakening, and we keep getting in our own way over and over and over again. So that learning how to clear that path so that we get out of the way and allow awakening to be present in the heart and to be able to experience it. So that clearing is not it's not any it's not abstruse. It's not something that is even overly difficult for everybody, but it does require a commitment and dedication. And to, what really clears this path to awakening is not just a meditation technique or just a philosophical astuteness. It is living a really skillful life, living a life of commitment to truth. So that is done on. So these are very fundamental ways of laying the foundation for really growing and maturing in the Buddha's way. So that making a commitment to say, like today is a day of it's an almsgiving ceremony. So really committing to a life that incorporates generosity, that sense of giving, of sharing, and of course, when we give, when we share, when we're attentive to the needs of others, one of the big things that manifests is we tend to relinquish our own selfishness, or we make a bit of a dent in it, and that clears the path for awakening. That sense of being able to drop our own self-obsession and obsession with our own needs and preferences, and be willing to give, willing to share. So that's it lays the foundation and really does help clear the path. Commitment to to precepts. These are really fundamental aspects of say the Buddhist path, but of a truly human existence. In the, say, from a Buddhist perspective, one of the things that makes us human is the ability to be virtuous, to make conscious choices, to be well established in integrity of conduct, so that when we live with each other, we're building bonds of trust and bonds of warmth and bonds of compassion, because of that integrity and a commitment to a moral integrity. And it's not say that moral integrity doesn't come with a lifting oneself and putting down of others. It's a recognition of our common humanity, and to be able to commit to this living a way that brings a well-being and ease in how we relate to each other. Generosity, virtue, and a commitment to reflecting, investigating, establishing right view in our hearts, and right view is not. I mean, it's quite interesting when one of the most common ways that the Buddha describes wisdom is just the wisdom that knows the arising and passing away of phenomena. So that knowing and deeply knowing, really bringing into the heart the reality of impermanence, of change, of the arising and ceasing of absolutely everything, whether it's external, internal, whether it's coarse or refined, whether it's near or far, whether it's about me or it's about anybody else. There is this common characteristic of impermanence and change that we have to be willing to take into account to be truly, say, wise and discerning. Because any time that we're we get lost in thinking, oh, it's always going to be this way, or I want it to be this way all the time, and or fearing change, or trying to force change. I mean, all of that is through say a non-acceptance of reality, and there's just so much ease and comfort when we're willing to see things in their true light. So that these are, say, fundamentals of clearing the path to awakening. And today is a day where you're all gathering, reflecting, doing something that is collectively good, and reflecting on the collective goodness that brought you together. So I just like to give my blessings and express my delight in this gathering, and I hope that it's a day that is truly satisfying and joyous for everyone. So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Lung. I don't know how many times, many times, I would go to Lung Pa being, stressed about something, and within 5-10 minutes, I'd be completely fine and back on track. An incredible teacher. And that comment I made earlier about his depiction of himself is really to show you the humility and humor that he has, that he brings to the Dhamma. You didn't get a lot of the humor in that particular talk, but if you get to know him, there's almost constant laughing. So, do you want to introduce?
You probably know Ayana Bodhi much better than I do. Oh, okay. Well, introduce them.
Slight change. So, some of you know about Clear Mountain Monastery. It's a new monastery forming in the Seattle area, and Ajahn Kovilo and Ajahn Nisabo have been friends of ours for a while, and as they started this project, they invited us to be their advisors. They really have an intention to support bhikkhunis and have learn how to connect more with their Dhamma sisters, and we've been traveling up there from time to time, and they've had visit. At least Ajahn Kovilo has been able to visit us here also, and we've been supporting one another's events. So they kindly gave us a message that they recorded.
Hello, Aya's community down in Karuna, Buddhist Vihara. It's Ajahn Nisapo and Ajahn Kovilo. That's his name. This is my name. We are so glad to have developed this relationship and this friendship with all of you. And Aya's, you've been such a meaningful guide and set of friends to us. We're so grateful, and just it's been wonderful and heartening to see the relationship grow these past few years, and look forward to many more. And Anagarika Sarna, it was a pleasure to actually get to meet you in person a few weeks ago, and we're really honored to be invited virtually via Zoom box, and we would have loved to be there in person for the ceremony, but we're trapped here. So to at least be able to kind of send our best from Seattle as we're able in this video is meaningful, and just to really appreciate the parallel between the two paths of our communities and growth and all the guidance and friendship that's been given in that way. Ajahn.
So we thought to maybe just speak briefly about some of the 6 grounds for communal harmony. There's a number of lists like this, but one of them comes up in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, where the Buddha talks about these, and the first 3 are about metta, which is very easy for us to feel towards the ayahs, and yeah, both to feel towards you and to feel from you. The first one is to engage in acts of loving kindness via the body, both in public and behind one's back. And I think just the briefest story about how I've experienced that from the ayahs is when I was visiting my mother, who lives in Menlo Park, about two months ago, and spoke with the ayahs, and they were coming up to Sunnyvale to their center there, and said, hey, maybe we could meet you, and actually maybe we could meet your mother as well. So came and stopped by and picked me up, and we were going to go visit their Sunnyvale center, which we did. But on the way, actually maybe it was the way back, but yeah, the ayahs got to meet my mother in person, and it was really quite a magical experience. It was almost, I've thought about it as a dharma door or a dhamma door for my mom. She's I've been a monk for 15 years, in monasteries for longer than that, and yeah, it was the first time she's ever really opened up to monastics, and I think a large part of that was just the energy and kindness of the ayahs. So amazingly, ended up sitting on my mom's back porch and de-shelling peas and talking, and my mom really just opening up to them, and the ayahs opening up to my mom, and it was just very special and something which I think I'll remember for a long time. So that's loving kindness acts in person, and loving kindness acts via speech. Ajahn Nisabo and I exchange emails frequently with the ayahs, and also have phone calls or FaceTime calls also fairly frequently. There's a lot of loving kindness both to each other via those means and behind each other's backs. So I definitely praise the ayahs to have recommended, especially their talks on the relationship between the Theravada or the Thai forest tradition and how they're seeing the way forward, this clearing the ground ceremony, what the work they're doing, and the perceptions and their perspective on Thai forest tradition. I found quite fascinating, a number of videos on that, and recommended those for some of my Thai forest brothers at Abhayagiri and elsewhere. So praising them behind their backs, and also just acts of loving kindness. Ajahn Nisabo and I often talk, but that's still verbal, but definitely hold the ayahs with a lot of gratitude. And that's very easy to do because they're very lovable and very good monastics, and certainly wish them the best, and wish the Karuna Buddhist Vihara all success. So.
And the next principle is whatever one gains through righteous means, one does not partake of it without first sharing it with one's companions in the holy life. And, we do, I think this just resonates a lot with what Ajahn Kovilo was saying, in the sense of, first just the importance of the community surrounding KBV and the nuns in terms of lending them support, and really understanding the preciousness of a community of female monastic practitioners. I know everyone on this, part of the ceremony understands that because you're here, but it is such a rare thing, and to have that on the West Coast, and as a refuge, a reference point, a catalyst, is so valuable. And so for all who've taken the time from their day, who've supported the nuns in all sorts of capacities, with time, with material and stuff. Just what an important and beautiful gift, and just really want to rejoice in that fact. It's not common that people will take their time, energy, resources, and pour it into something which much of the world doesn't understand. But I think there's something very important going on down there. So anamotana everyone for doing that. And just on that note of giving, this is slightly different, but this sort of relationship between bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, it's something we're learning to navigate again. And it is kind of a new thing for us as monks to have regular contact with our bhikkhuni sisters. And we've just noticed this really important kind of transition between negotiating and working out some of the details of how we interact with each other, and then just stepping past that into a place of feeling just relaxed and like we have genuine just sisters we can kind of joke around with. And on that note of giving, like they gave us this great little care package with the almost sort of picture of a hedgehog, and it was like an adorable hedgehog, the cutest card we've gotten forever. And just the sense of kind of stepping into this friendship and genuine feeling of being siblings and brothers and sisters in Dhamma, and that's a great gift in its own right.
Yeah, the next quality is for communal harmony is about having shared precepts, or a shared sense of integrity, shared sila, and that makes things very easy. We study our monastic precepts, our bhikkhu precepts, and the ayas definitely study their bhikkhuni precepts, and they just work so well together, having been formulated by the Buddha. Each of these precepts it's very easy for us to receive the ayas when they come up here, because our sense of principles are so similar that it just makes harmony so easy, and it makes for a sense of shared safety. Certainly I feel, or when I've gone down, still living in California at the Dharma Buddhist University, going down to visit the ayas from time to time, they know how to look after me, or I come in and I'm a known quantity. They basically, just come and fit right in, and that's this sense of fitting right in, clearing the path. We're on the same path. We've got the same principles. Our sense of right speech, right action, right livelihood are very much in line, and they just are able to blend together quite beautifully, and may it be for many more decades, generations. So.
And the sixth is that this is the Buddha says, this is the kingpin, the roof beam, the summit, that is shared right view, that is onward leading, transcendent, leading to the ending of suffering. And he divides that into like 7 others, but we don't have time to go into all of them. But I think that clarification of right view not only was the nuns were so helpful in terms of reaffirming and encouraging us towards emphasizing and leaning into the role of monastics that we wanted to embody. And the story of initially opening, Aya Santusika and Aya Chitananda opening kind of this meditation center or Vihara, and giving these kind of general introduction meditation classes, and then realizing that they wanted to do what they loved, which is teach and talk about suttas and the Buddha's teaching, and being willing to lean into that and have faith that if they go to the heart of what they love to do as monastics and live where they want to live, that the magic of this path is that things will coalesce as they're supposed to. Was an encouragement for us to recollect that we have that we could lean into our own love of Dhamma and teachings and of the form, and to share that view with them, and kind of have these sisters who are helping us clarify our own vision of Clear Mountain, and of our own relationship with the Bhikkhuni Sangha, the Fourfold Assembly, what a liminal moment we find ourselves in, and to have the careful guidance, the kind and soft and knowledgeable guidance of the ayahs in terms of determining our own route has been essential. From everything, from their encouragement of having a place on Clear Mountain's eventual, perhaps, property, if we ever get property, where nuns could come and stay and visit, to just how we can be good friends to our sisters in robes. So we're so grateful for that, and for all who've come together to support the ayahs. And Ajahn, you want to say anything else?
Yeah, just big anumodana and thank you to the ayahs and to the whole community that's supporting them. And we'll just chant a quick Pali blessing because we all love Pali.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Bhavatu sabbamangalam
Rakantu sabba devata sabba buddha nubhavena saraswati bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakantu sabba devata sabba dhamma nubhavena saraswati bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakantu sabba devata sabba sangha nubhavena saraswati bhavantu te. Okay.
So thank you to Ajahn Pobilo and Ajahn Musigo for many things, including their message today. And now we're going to hear from Aya Anandabodhi. She's in the midst of her sabbatical that she graciously offered to give us a short recording. And I think we're ready. Oh, I think everybody knows I am not a Bodhi, but maybe maybe that's not the case. So I met Ayananda Bodhi when I visited Amaravati in 2007. And as also when I met Aya Santachetan. And they've both been incredibly supportive of us as we've developed the Buddhist Vihara. And Ayananda Bodhi is, as I said, currently on sabbatical, getting some rest. And she's been, well, besides co-leading with Aya Santachetan, Karuna, Aloka Vihara, been in robes since, the late 1990s. Early 90s. So she's got a lot of experience in the robes.
Hello, everyone. Warm greetings from the Pacific Northwest. This is Aya Ananda Bodhi calling in, and just want to express my mudita, first of all, for this gathering of many good people to support Karuna Buddhist Vihara and Aya Santusika, Aya Chitananda, and Anagarika Sarana. So I was at the Almsgiving last year, and it was a very inspiring event, both to see the place and what the ayahs have done, and it created a very beautiful and supportive practice environment, and also to see the generosity and the goodness of so many people coming together. So I'm not able to be there this year, but much mudita to all of you who are there in person, and also to everyone who's tuning in online. So may it be a very beautiful and beneficial day for everybody. So the theme of the day is clearing the path of awakening. So it's an interesting combination of things, the path of awakening, and then, there's like finding the path, recognizing the path, and remembering to align one's life with the path, and then clearing the path, and then of course walking the path and coming to the end of the path eventually. So clearing the path to awakening. So how do we know when the path is here, when we are on the path? So we can be lost in all kinds of busyness of life and planning and worrying and remembering, like recollecting past memories, and we can forget. We can forget that the path is right here waiting for us to recognize it again. And it's stories of the mind that keep us kind of blind to the path that is right here, under our very feet, under our very nose, in our very body at every moment. So the path always is always brought to light through sati. Sati, awareness, presence, mindfulness, clarity. So when we bring sati to whatever is going on here and now, the path opens right here. It's always with sati. And it may be that we bring sati to our experience, excuse me, but what we're experiencing is not what we want to experience. Maybe we bring sati and then we feel like, oh gosh, my life's in a mess and I made all these mistakes, or then maybe the body's painful and oh gosh, I just don't want to be present with this, or there's just too much chaos going on in the mind. Maybe you've been watching too many TikTok or whatever it is you watch, too many video games or whatever it is, and then the mind isn't clear. So you stop and you bring mindfulness, and then it's like, mindful of this. I don't think I want this. But the path does begin right there. It begins with bringing mindfulness to things as they are, to this, whatever this may be. And then if we can stay with it long enough, we recognize, I just don't like the result of how I've been living my life, maybe. Or we might see, actually, I'm feeling really good about the good things I've been doing. And even though it's not been perfect, because life is never perfect, I feel really good about those acts of generosity, or those 5 minutes even that I stop and meditate in the morning, if that's what you're doing. So even little things one can appreciate. And then of course there's all of the stuff that clutters up the path. So the biggest kind of bramble, you could say, is the story of me and mine. Me, how I am, how I should be, how I shouldn't be, what I was, what I'm going to be, what people think about me. This is the biggest bramble, great big tangle on the path to awakening. And it can look very hard to make one's way through that. But actually, if you just get those clippers out and you just cut in the right places, and you put a bit of effort into dragging away some of that old rubbish that isn't needed anymore, then the path starts to clear up. So recognizing, what is the story of self that you play to yourself over and over again? What are the voices that say you should be, you shouldn't be, you're not, you are, all of that. And then going along with that, the things that we consider, to be ours, me and mine, my family, my home, my clothing, my car, my possessions, my, my rights, actually. Yeah, rights are something to be careful around, because we do need to respect each other's values and lives. It's essential. But in terms of ownership of things, things pass through. They're ours for a while. We enjoy them for a while, or we carry them for a while, or we take care of them for a while, and then they pass away. Or that includes this body. This body is what we call me and mine, or mistakenly, and it's ours. It's me. It's ours for a while, and then it's going through its process. It's doing its thing. It's getting sick. It's healing. It's growing. It's aging. It's changing. It's digesting, and it's doing all of those things. And then when it's the right time, when our time is, when we've done what we're here to do, hopefully, then we let go of this body. It's no longer considered me or mine. So we can let go of the body earlier, not letting go in a way of neglect, but letting go in a way of caring for this body, appreciating this body as a vehicle for awakening, and not as an identity, who and what I am. So the kind of brambles of self-view can be challenging on the path. So we want to cut them back. We want to explore it. We want to understand and cut back what we can to open up a path where we can actually kind of move more freely. And then there can be, how we've spent our life. Maybe if we've spent a lot of time doing unskillful things, when we stop and pay attention, then it's not very nice. It's like, the house or the vehicle is not clean inside. It's not pleasant to be in. So then we want to not be there, but here we are for this lifetime, this body, this mind. So we need to take care of that. We take care of clearing out, changing our habits that are not skillful, developing more wholesome habits, and finding ways to do good in the world, random acts of kindness and intentional acts of kindness and generosity and renunciation. Renunciation is such an important aspect, particularly at this time in the world. I think it's, because our expectations, the expectations of the ordinary person are so high now. What is considered normal takes such a huge amount of resources, that we need to start learning to let go and renounce and simplify, have things a little easier, little simpler. So so keeping the precepts and living in a more simple way, being generous, and finding opportunities to practice patience and kindness, and doing good. This opens up the path. This creates a supportive foundation for the path. So the path is always here. It's always now. It always arises when we pay attention. We can be completely lost and completely forget the teachings, and get completely caught up in a story of our life, and then we remember for a moment. We remember, oh yeah, the Buddha taught sati. He taught to bring awareness to our experience. I mean, there's the 4 establishments of mindfulness which go into great detail around sati, so we can pick that up. But even just bringing sati to what is happening here and now, and turning towards that and being open to it and learning from it, seeing what is there to learn from this experience? What is there to be cultivated? What is there to be let go of? And to, using guidance of teachers and also your own wisdom to really pay attention and get interested and start to transform the patterns that are unhelpful and guide them towards something that's helpful. And as we develop, ethics and skillful states, skillful ways of relating to the world and to each other, and also, in our meditation practice, stilling, settling, letting go, letting a deeper experience of reality, letting the mind drop into deeper states of reality and not just the program that we got running. So as we develop these qualities on the path, the path opens up. It leads us onward and inward, and it's always here, it's always now. And the body, this body, our body, is also always here, always now. So if we use the body as our body as a tool, as a vehicle, or as an object for mindfulness, as an anchor that brings us back to presence, it will be a really good friend to us. It will always be here, always now, until our last breath. So practicing with the conditions that are present, and then transforming the way we relate to the present and also what we bring to the world. This opens up the path, clears the path. So awakening is for everyone. It is a birthright in a way. It's like it's waiting to be realized. And it's just a case of remembering and putting in the right effort and right mindfulness, right concentration, actually all factors of the path, bringing the Eightfold Path into aliveness in our life. So don't think you're somebody who can't do it. We're all invited to wake up. So I want to offer that today, and wish you a very joyful and insightful and beautiful day together. And I just want to say that, in supporting Karuna Buddhist Vihara and the community there, doing great work. It's the nuns make such good use of what is offered on many levels. So this is a truly worthwhile and beneficial and beautiful thing to do, to come to Karuna Buddhist Vihara and to support the community there and the beautiful forest monastery. So that's it from me. All the best. Bye-bye.
Aww. Okay, so now we're going to hear from Aya Santachita live. Yay.
Is it enough with that? Can you hear me in the back? Yeah. Okay, so for those who don't know, I am Ananda Bodhi, who just spoke, and myself, we came to America in 2009 on the invitation of the Sanaloka Foundation. And Diana Aya Santusika was with us at that time. She was Anagarika Santusika. And meanwhile, a lot has happened. And I'm currently living at the Aloka Earth Room in San Rafael. And I've left some little cards outside at the entrance table if you're interested. And just offering yet another perspective on what it means, to clearing the path of awakening. And what, after having heard, several perspectives on it, there's really not much left to be said other than, really underlining the fact, that it is a balance between realization and actualization, to really step into that which we know to be true from our own practice, So the realization is maybe more like a stepping back and, looking at our own experience and developing wisdom and compassion. And wisdom in particular is, experience understood is wisdom. Personal understanding of our experience translates into insight. And then if we act on that insight in our daily lives, if we really step into that, if we actualize what we have realized, that's how we are opening the path. That's how the path is cleared. By really living what we know to be true. Otherwise, it's gonna stay more or less in the head and in the heart, but we need to really bring it into action, to really bring it into our form, to inform ourselves with that insight by acting on it, every day, every moment, ideally, if we can. And if we can't, then, with mindfulness, reflecting on that, and then maybe the next time we can do it. And walking our talk, I think it said, in daily parlance, and that's how the path really opens. And then the Dhamma responds. And, we have one of the chants where there's 9 different qualities of the Dhamma are mentioned, and one is Opanaiko, which, is translated in 2 different ways. One is leading inwards, leading us deeper into reality, as Ananda Bodhi was saying, and also leading onwards, which is about, opening the path. And the Dhamma is responding with suitable conditions, for our practice to blossom. Such as, for example, for the Aya Santusika and Aya Chitananda, when they started, there was nothing much here, and I remember Aya Santusika lived at One Heart Center at Mary Nipper's place. And that was many years ago. And now, they have a forest hermitage and this city center here. And that has, emerged out of what we don't really know, out of the Dhamma, I would say, by them, stepping forward in such a skillful way that the Dhamma was responding with these very skillful circumstances, which allows their vision, to become more and more manifested. And that's, how life responds if we know how to. It's a call and response, between the Dhamma and the heart, which has an appreciation for truth and which can kind of intuitively, connect with what has real value in life. And I think, the story of how these 2 places, became manifested is a very good illustration of that, First, there was nothing much here. Santusika had a vision, and now there's a lot has happened. Yeah. And in the same way with Ananda Bodhi and myself, when we came, there was nothing much here. And then we had a local Vihara forest monastery developed, and then somehow it came to an end. And now we are standing, at the threshold, of another new beginning. And we don't really know yet, how it's going to pan out. But we trust, because we have seen it so many times. The Dhamma really responds if we, take the courage and the interest to really step into it. It wants to be realized. And, if there's a lot of goal orientation, it's a hindrance, really. But if there is, a vision there, and at the same time, giving it space to find its own response, then most amazing things can happen. And for me, Karuna Buddhist Vihara and the story of Aya Santusika, Aya Chitananda, and also Anagarika Sarana is a very good illustration of that, in which we can all reflect on at times, when we feel a little bit discouraged, and when we can't see that truth so clearly in our own lives, because there's maybe so much hardship. And sometimes it is like that. And that's a time also of, rendering and things getting kind of transformed. and it can get pretty hot at times and very difficult. But if we can keep steady, it changes again. As Ajahn Pasana was saying, one of the most, simple and powerful definitions of what wisdom is all about is the arising and ceasing of phenomena. Nothing whatsoever is exempt from that truth. And, and when you hear that, you'd probably say, oh God, I know that, but to really know it, to really deeply know it and have full confidence in that when the going gets really tough, that is not so easy. I mean, I know it from my own experience, and then it's really important to have good friends, to have Sangha, so that they can remind us, We might be able to give really great Dhamma talk, but then maybe a few weeks later, we're getting deeply challenged and we can't really connect with that truth anymore. And to have a place like this, to come and have support when we need it and give support when we can, it's a perfect investment, for our lives, and a very safe one, which is even, when we come to the end of this body, whatever we have realized, in the Dhamma will benefit us even beyond that. So, and thank you everybody for coming and supporting the bhikkhunis. We are still an endangered species, so to say. And it's great, that you are recognizing the value of what we have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, dear sister. I guess there's so many beautiful messages, and they've been so foundational. And I guess one small thing I can add is just how much our living in the forest and then coming into the city both are teaching us, and it's really true in everyone's life. We are all constantly observing change if we're paying attention, and we're all constantly finding the current, situation or circumstance. We can either see it as something that's overwhelming or comforting, or whatever it means to us. But we can also look at it as, how do I add this? How do I use this? How do I clear the path to awakening with this? And one of the things that we've been doing a lot out at the Hermitage, of course, is fire clearance, and literally clearing paths that were there before the winter set in and all the crazy storms that were just incredibly littered isn't quite the right word, obscured by the downed trees and fallen limbs, and now again clearing the path as we, to make our way through. And this is the way life is. Sometimes we feel like, okay, I've done this work, I've dealt with this issue, and then, a storm comes by, and you find some more, Sayananda Bodhi said, bramble on the path, and it's time to be patient and persistent and clear it again. The thing I think sometimes we don't see in the moment is how much that clearing again adds to our stamina, and adds to our merit, and adds to our sort of fuel and basis for continuing on the path. And, if we bring our attention again and again back to how we can develop those beautiful qualities of heart and mind that we all admire. You know, ask anyone, generosity, kindness, wisdom, humility, patience. You know, we all have the list, and we all have those times when we're not doing that. And when we do, recognizing, oh, I have another pile of sticks to move off the path now. It's okay. One by one, we can make progress. And, you know, everything that was said today, what I had just said about, you know, having that vision, you know, there is awakening. It is available to all of us. I often say that, you know, the Buddha himself said that if it wasn't possible for each of us to do it, he wouldn't teach us this. But it is possible. And in our current Buddhist world, we don't hear that message all the time about awakening and what happens after we leave this body behind and those kinds of things. And it is important. And the Buddha fills the suttas, filled his discourses with this message. And we want to remember, but as I said, there is a guiding star. It's not a rigid goal, because we need to flow with it and not hold on too tightly, because we're constantly experiencing things we didn't expect. And that's part of our fuel and good fortune, so that we can develop, grow in the way that we hold things and feel them and apply them to the path. So one of the things that I hope everyone takes with them is that here at Karuna Buddhist Vihara, there are lots of opportunities to be involved. We love finding out what you are all experiencing, feeling, the questions you have, the things that come up that, you know, are really interesting, challenging, the joyous celebrations. And through those, then looking at the Buddhist teachings and seeing, you know, how what we experience, it shows up in the teachings that he gave 2,500 years ago. Because there's always a framework there that we can use to see which sort of step to take next. And so I hope that there's been something in this program today that's been valuable for you, maybe touching a certain chord in your own life. And as we go forward, you know, talk to us, stay in touch, use this as an opportunity to serve and grow and express yourself in the context of spiritual friendship, kindness, and virtue. Thank you. So I think at this point we're going to chant some blessings. We have a little basket of blessing strings. If you want one, you can, I think we'll pass them around so you can take one or more with you if you like. Just as a token of remembrance and maybe a reminder of some clearing of the path that you want to do for yourself. Okay. Okay.
So you can just pass the blessing screens around while we do the chanting. Haraniya mata kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamecha sako uchu cha suhuchu cha suvacho cha samutu anatimani santu sako cha suparo cha apakicho Chasala hukawuti santindriyo chanipako cha apatapo kulesu ananukito nachakutan samachare kinchiyena vinyu pareyu pavateyum sukino kemino hontu sape sata Pavantu sukitata ye ke chipana puta tita sava tavarava anuvasesa tigava ye mahantava machima saka anukatula Tita ye cha atita ye chature vasanti avidure Utava sambhave siva sape sata pavantu sukitata naparo parang nikupeta natiman yeta kata chinam kinchipaya rosana patika sanya Nanyamanya satu kamiche yamata yatani yang putang ayusa eka puta manurake evam pisa babute sumana sampavareya parimanang metancha sabalokasming Mana sampavareya parimanang utang ato chatiriyan cha asampatang averang asapatang titan charang nisinova sayanova yavata savikatamito etang sating aditeya brahmametang Vihara itamahuti tinsha anupakam silawa tasanena sampano kame suvineya ketang nahi chatuka baseyang punareti. Jayanto Bodhiya Mule Sakyana Nandivakano Evang Tava Vichayo Vichaya Suchaya Mangale Aparachita Palanke Sise Patavipokare Abhiseke Sababhutanang Agapato pamodati sunakatang sumangalang supapatang suhutitang sukano sumuhuto chasuyitang brahmachari supadakinang kaya kamang vacha kamang padakinang manokamang Vanidite padakina nikatwana lapamtate padakine. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Buddhas. May you ever be well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Dhamma. May you ever be well.
May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you. By the power of all the Sangha, may you ever be well.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for coming. We have an opportunity for other offerings. If you'd like to bring up to the Sangha, we'll do some extra blessings for you, but no pressure otherwise. Yep. I think that's it for the day. Thank you for coming again, and please make sure to take your dishes with you if you brought some things along. And I hope to see you
And
around
any extra
soon.
food you want to take home?
Yes, and your extra food that might be in the fridge from today. Oh, if anybody wants some cake, there's a lot of cake up for grabs.